So you've probably heard, you've probably heard that I have a new opportunity in Washington. I'm excited about that opportunity because it is an opportunity to build on the work that we have done together, to build on the work that you have done, to build on the work that you have done in your classrooms and your schools and your districts and your regions, to build on the brilliant way that you have turned Network Team Institutes from a training session to a planning session, where together we lay out a strategy for how we continuously get better. I'm excited to build on the work that you have done to inspire your colleagues and your students and parents and communities around the notion that we can all reach higher standards together. Not easily, not without hard work, not without challenge, but that we can achieve those goals together through what happens in classrooms. I'm excited to build on the work that you have done to get folks focused on the power of background knowledge in students' ability to succeed as readers and writers. I'm excited to build on the work that you've done to have people look at a text and say, you know what? This text isn't challenging enough. We can do more. We can ask more. We can accomplish more with our students. I'm excited to build on the work that you've done to get students thinking about math in new ways. The work you've done to create math conversations where students say to each other, I like how you solved that, but I solved it a different way. Here's how. I'm excited to build on the work that you've done to take the materials on Engage New York and bring them to life in classrooms. The ways that you've used the materials from core knowledge to open students' minds to new experiences beyond anything that they experience in their own neighborhoods and lives. The way you've used the expeditionary learning materials not only to get students reading challenging texts and talking about them with evidence drawn from texts, but seeing the connections between those texts and how they can make a difference in their world and their lives. The work that you've done to turn the Common Core Inc. materials into an intellectual experience for students and teachers as they grapple with math concepts together. The work that you're doing with the high school materials to ensure that when students graduate, they aren't just graduating from high school, they aren't just finishing, but they're leaving ready for success in college and careers. I'm excited about this new opportunity because it's an opportunity to keep working together to advance our common goals for students. What Ken said about the gap between what is and what ought to be is exactly right. We've talked before about Ron Heifetz and his work looking at the work of leadership as being about helping communities bridge the gap between their reality and their values. One doesn't have to look beyond the front page of the newspaper to see the gap between our reality and our values. You don't have to look far to see how too many of our students leave us before completing high school, leave us from high school unprepared for what's next. Too many of our students can't find jobs that provide a family supporting wage. Too many of our fellow citizens will spend this holiday season wishing they could give presents to their children, wishing they had a permanent roof over their heads, wishing they had food to feed their children. Too many of our fellow citizens will, in this holiday season, wonder if they can make it, if their kids can make it, if their kids will actually have a better life than they did. And ultimately, our work together is about changing that reality, bridging the gap between that reality and the aspirations of our country to deliver opportunity for every young person. It's about bridging the gap between the reality that we've seen around race relations in the United States in the last 3 weeks and our aspiration to be the society that Dr. King imagined and dreamt of. It's about bridging the daily gap between those moments in the classroom where it doesn't quite happen for students and our commitment to figure out how to make it happen for them. And so this work is work that we have just begun. We've done so much over the last 5.5 years. We have done so much to change the reality in classrooms, but we've just only begun. And so we have a lot of work still to do together. Together, we've got to bring our school communities, our district communities, our regional communities together to ask, what we've done is good. How do we get to great? We've reached a set of students with disabilities, English language learners we weren't reaching before, but how do we reach every student, regardless of disability? How do we reach every student, regardless of what language they speak at home? We've gotten a lot done, but let's watch videotape of this class together and ask, was there a different question that could have been asked that would have pushed students' thinking just a little bit more? We've gotten a lot done, but we need to sit together with student work, with student essays, and ask, wow, look at the evidence students cited in support of their arguments and how well organized these essays are, but how can we push them a little bit further? How can we get them to reach a little bit further? How can we get them to make their arguments that much more persuasive? How can we get them to use vocabulary that is that much more powerful to convey their ideas? And how can we continue? We've got to ask ourselves, how do we continue to help our communities and parents and students meet this challenge? We are here. We've made this progress because of your courage. Because you were prepared to have the difficult conversation with a colleague. You were prepared to have the difficult conversation to help folks understand why their students, their child even, may not be where they want them to be, but if we work together, we can get there. I deeply, deeply admire that courage. And I will miss this community. Last night, talking with my daughters, they are so excited about this opportunity and so proud and sad to leave their friends. And I am sad to leave you, my friends. I will miss this community because in this community we have come together and we have focused with conviction on the question of how do we do more for kids together. When we come together, it is all about students and what they need and how we can advance their interests and how we can help them achieve all that is possible for them. That is a beautiful thing, a blessing for the world. I've shared with you before the difference that schools made for me. And I've told you, not for Mr. Osterweiler, who taught me in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, I wouldn't be standing here today. And last night, as we were exchanging emails and texts about this moment, and I was thinking about those moments in 4th and 5th, 6th grade. My father was so sick, and my mom had passed, and I didn't have hope, but hope came in school. Hope came in Shakespeare. Hope came in the New York Times. Hope came in the countries, the capitals we memorize of every country in the world. Hope came in knowing that tomorrow I would go to class and I would learn something, and it would be engaging and challenging and interesting. You bring your students hope. This community brings me hope. It has been a tremendous honor to work alongside our team at SED and the Regents Research Fund and the Board of Regents and every person in this room. I'm very grateful. I look forward to our work together, and I look forward to accomplishing, closing that gap between what is and what ought to be together. Thank you.